All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Sunday Main Slate NFL show. We got Week 10 ahead. Hoopster and Title here with me as always. Do us a favor on the way in. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't watched our shows this week so far, all our shows free. You can go back and check out the Cash Show with Hoop and Title. You can check out Leverage Lane with myself and Alex Blickel. And now here to break down our final thoughts for the week. Hoopster, I'll bring you in first. We got a good one, man. There's a lot of good games. The afternoon games, all very solid as well. So a lot of stuff to get to, but what's your thoughts coming in, man? How you doing?
Doing well. The initial thoughts are definitely pretty wide open slate again. I mean, there's a lot of different routes to go. You look at each position, quarterback, pretty wide open. The spends on DK, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, they're not priced high enough, which is somewhat frustrating. I'd like to see some separation in pricing, like those two in a tier of their own, and then something else. But they're too cheap on DK. I would say you get to running back, Dodal. I'm sticking with Dodal ever since we've called him Dodal. Good things have happened. Too cheap on DK, and then you have like Christian McCaffrey as the guy that everyone's going to spend on. But after that, it's pretty wide open, wide receiver. You got the big dogs up top with JSN, Puka, and then I would say pretty wide open. And tight end, again, similar to last week, there's probably like 10 viable tight end plays, a lot of them underpriced, actually all of them underpriced, starting with McBride. McBride at $6K, I mean, he should be priced as like a wide receiver one up in that $7K range, but they just put this cap on the tight end pricing, which leaves these guys underpriced. But there's a lot of other guys to consider that are super cheap below him. So some clear plays, and most teams are going to probably feature one of CMC, Puka, JSN. I don't know what the percentage is. I'm sure there's people out there that have a better guess than I do, but it's going to be a large percentage of teams have one of those three as the spend. But after that, pretty wide open with what you do, and a lot of good games to target. One weather spot in Chicago that we'll touch on, where the total has come down a little bit, so I think that will impact how I play that game. But a lot of good games too. Like that's the one. A lot of teams in good spots, and a lot of games that I think could kind of go off, bringing the game stack stuff into play a little bit as well.
Yeah, Title, I'm going to bring you in, man. Our man Andre, shout out to him, always here supporting. So when the bass hits on the Ship It theme song, we know it's Free Money Sunday. And Title, I'll say, Hoop calls him Dodal, but you know what rhymes with Rico? Free-do. And it is Money Sunday, baby. So what's going on? How you doing, man?
Oh, yeah, doing great. And every Sunday, 10 games on tap, a lot of good football. What craziness are we going to see today? Who knows? The league is always a lot of fun, millions of dollars up top. There's going to be a lot of happy people when it's all said and done. Hey, football going on right now too, so I'm ready to rock. Great slate we have on tap, and I couldn't add any more first thoughts better than Hoop did. He went position kind of quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end. I mean, it's really concentrated at running back. QB will be spread out. Tight ends look too cheap, and receiver is, I think the weakest position right now. So great breakdown to start it off by Hoopster.
Yeah, and we got the weather and the props. You'll have us all taken care of on that. Interestingly enough, Hoop, I'm going to go back right to you. We do start with the Saints at the Panthers for the first game on the slate here. And the thought is, everyone's in on the Rico stuff. I get that. He's probably the highest owned running back on the slate. Makes sense. Good reason. Props, matchup, you name it, everything. Is there any worry here for you at all? Or what's your thoughts on the spot with everyone sort of some people are all in, some people are super worried about this spot. How do you feel about it?
I mean, not worried at all. I mean, the dude's been phenomenal, and he's done it against much better defenses than the Saints. And it's just a matter of what does the workload look like. And they gave it to him last week, which, anyone that's watched this guy, you don't even have to be playing DFS. You don't have to be betting on sports. You could just be a recreational football fan and watch the game and say, this should be the starting running back and that guy should be the backup. It was clear as day. And for some reason, these dumb coaches in the NFL can't figure that shit out. Like, they just really struggle to figure out the common sense stuff in the NFL. And again, you don't even have to be an expert. You don't, we're digging into this shit 7 days a week. This is our passion. You don't even need to have that in order to see that it should have been our guy Dodal over Chuba, and they went back to Hubbard for some reason, and it cost them, and they went right back to Rico last week, gave him all the work, and look what happened. They got a win, an upset win, and he performed. So it's pretty common sense. But again, these coaches in the NFL, for some reason, man, a majority of them really struggle with the common sense decisions. And then they struggle with the more complex decisions too, which adds a layer of just how stupid these people are. And yet add on to this by Guy Allen. Yeah, a little bit of snow. So it's sad times here. I'm looking out the window right now, and snow is falling. Not fun.
Yuck. I was driving 83 and sunny yesterday driving to the casino.
We've been lucky so far. The weather's been great. I'd say even probably where Tambo's at, the weather's been great up until like this point. And I think today, at least here, today's the day where everything starts going downhill.
You're a sharp man, but the one decision you didn't get right in life was getting the heck out of the north and getting to the sun.
I'm a family guy, and I got the family commitments here. But I will tell you one thing: as soon as my kids are done with school, my ass is out. Smart.
Nice. Title, I got to go to you on this one because we look at the props, look at everything that goes with it. I guess Hoop made the case, and I think a lot are interested in that. It does make a ton of sense. The price matters too. I know some people have referenced like the Bijan spot. I think that would have mattered more if Tet was out. I'll have more thoughts on Tet in a second, but he's going to play. I think he's going to be fine, actually. I'll go into it more in a minute. But just of note, why is it 5.5 at home? They literally just beat the Panthers. They're playing one of the worst teams in the entire NFL at home, and it's 5.5 point favorite. Why do you think that is?
I really can't answer. Sportsbooks know a lot more than me. I don't know. Backdoor cover's got to be in play, and maybe just at the end of the day, it's still the Carolina Panthers. And I mean, the team just loves to run the football. I guess if you stop the run, Bryce Young beating you, they're not, I guess, convinced. And Tyler Shuck, however you say his name, I think there's just a little more unknowns on that side too that it has to be priced in. But I by no means consider myself a professional bettor. I have no clue about that line, but I agree.
I think it's
Lions seemed a little interesting to me too. I thought that could have been wider.
Yeah, I thought.
I mean, just to add on to the Panthers thing, I think it's definitely they need one more week. I mean, this team has been so up and down all over the place. They've looked great. They've looked beyond terrible. There's still a lot of unknowns with them, but it's like, I think one more solid performance and they'll get a little more respect. If they had one, a stretch of 2 or 3 games where they look good, this would be like 7.5 instead of 5.5. And when we get to the Lions, that's another one you thought should be wider. I think I have some reasons why it's not. We'll talk through it when we get there though.
Go Saints. Go Saints.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was going to just say that you're cheering for the Saints anyway in the Survivor streets. A lot of people on these Panthers, and whoever has them. I mean, that's the fun part about Survivor. Everyone needs something different. They all have a different path, so it is a game where you're rooting for yourself. Though, it is what it is. Sorry for you, but that's part of it. So, okay, let's move on. Let's keep going with this one then. Title. The other thing I was going to say. So I brought up Tet. Tet was seen on video. I saw it on X. Not everybody saw this, but he's out there shaking it down at the cookout. The hamstring looked just fine. He was having a good time with the ladies out dancing, just having a fun day. So maybe he is going to be completely okay. And that's another thought here. I guess interest in anything else on the Panthers side outside of Dowdle? And then how much ownership do you think the Panthers sees here? Because at least on FanDuel, it's automatic. They're the same price pretty much as their DraftKings price, like $100 more with 10K more to spend. But what's your thoughts on the rest of the Panthers, your thoughts on Dowdle, and then anything at all on the Saints side?
Yeah, FanDuel, Panthers defense, great shout there. 3,600, one of the cheaper on the slate, 5.5 point favorites. It all adds up there. But in tournaments, know that exactly. The Rico Panther stuff on DK, I think Panthers defense has to be in check at 3,500. Now, I don't think they're like 4% because people have loved the chalk running back pair with the defense. There's no better spot to make it work. I still like the pairing. I like Rico. I plan on having him be my highest owned player on the whole slate. The dude still feels too cheap. The role's amazing. Game script couldn't be better. Looks good on the stone. Like everything just checks the boxes there. And it's really outside of that, I don't like this game. And it's because I think Rico does get the ball 25 plus times. Like I want to like Tet, but man, it's just, you're giving up. Receiver is not a great position by any means, but 5,700, there is plenty of solid receivers in that range, and he just hasn't got the volume that I've wanted in this spot. I think they rely on Rico. With that being said, if you do want a lot of leverage, I mean, playing the pass catcher over the chalkiest running back or one of the chalkiest on the slate makes sense. I'm not really going to do it. I'm going to play Panthers D. I'm going to play Rico. I don't hate Saints D, though, on the other side. You guys talk about it, kind of the chalkiest D. I mean, they're pretty much a stone punt down there. I'm totally fine with that as a Bryce Young team. If you see Saints get up 10-7, 7-0, and they can't hand the ball to Rico 25 plus times, it could get a little interesting that way. So really outside of Rico, though, in the defenses, I got nothing.
I'll just add a couple just because, some chatter yesterday on the Leverage Lane show, just like bringing up some of the thoughts for final thoughts. You guys covered it perfectly, so not much else to add. I would say the Saints D that you brought up, not just because the opposite side, but look, if somehow the Saints do pull the upset or anything along those lines, I don't think it's like, I'm not looking for that stack or like, oh man, I missed out on Brandon Cooks or whatever. If that happens, so be it. I'm saying I'd more so see it be because the Saints somehow keep them in check. I love your call out, like a 10-7 spot. It's not that Rico doesn't get the carries. It just might not work. I would be willing to do that if you're in a large field tournament specifically, and where it's really going to help you gain big ground. And then also I would say the other thing is like Tet, like I mentioned at 5,700, I definitely think there's a possibility for him still to have in that balance type build, which I'll talk about more as we go through the slate. There's a lot of stars and scrubs on this slate, if you will, for like the CMC stuff. And when we get to the big receivers of Puka and JSN, and if you're on the Detroit stuff, Amon-Ra. So there's a lot of people going there. If you wanted a more balanced build, obviously he's less than Dowdle at a wide receiver position. So you could do something like that also. All right. Next game. This is the weather one title. So I'm going to go to you. What is the latest from Roth on the weather? We follow his stuff. Let's try and go off and get an idea for this one. I will say overnight, the total title came down from 47 to 45.5 from the show yesterday when we were monitoring it there to the show today. It's down 1.5. Yeah,
weather. This is the only game that he has as orange. Everything else is like the worst is yellow. Buffalo, Miami, which is no concerns. Winds, he said, around 20 miles an hour, could push 30, rain and snow pregame, not much in game. So yeah, like you said, the total dropped a little. I don't love to see orange. The Bears defense is bad. There's no doubt about that. I think Dart is interesting for the sense of, Wandale is a solid pairing. Slayton has a little upside, and Dart has his legs. That's the main thing with Dart. When you play him, he has 2 rushing touchdown ability. The price is fine at 5,700. I actually like where the price is for tournaments for the sense of he's right in between the cheaper quarterbacks, the Mac Jones, the Mariotas and stuff. And like he's couple hundred more expensive than them where it matters. And he's cheaper right in between the Lamar, Josh Allen that I think will get more ownership. With all that being said, man, this just feels like a gross Soldier Field weather game where try and run the ball, the clock bleeds. And I just can't pinpoint, like with DJ Moore, Adunze, now it's a Loveland game. Is it Zacchaeus? It just feels like there's too many things. Monangai, I am worried about he eats into Swift a little bit after the good game he had. So I really don't like the game much. Bears defense is probably my favorite way to go about it.
Yeah, Hoop, I'll come to you in 1 second. Just want to shout out some in the chat. Darren's here. Appreciate you, Darren. Could be the edible, but I think we're going to ship it today. That was a good one. Going down just to some of the other ones. Our man, DJ. Let's go, fellas. Big week loading. Shout out to him. Tom Brady is gray in the chat. We had earlier Saints beat them outright today was another one I saw. Jordan was going with this. Our guy Newen says Monangai greater than Swift for me this week. And I'll go to that in a second, Hoop. But real quick, our man Kevlar, I got to ask you, Title, when you're doing your poker benders, if you even run them into a Sunday, I'm not sure how. I know sometimes you do, and you say, like, I was there and you get to the show in the morning. Do you still watch the games, or do you ever get the lineups in, go take a nap, and then come back for the late swap?
It really depends. I mean, I was playing until past midnight yesterday, and I played till 3:30 a.m. prior. But if I'm really dead, I get my lineup in, I sleep, and then I wake up because I legit can't. But yeah, I know he was playing a little of that. But I try and stay up on Sundays and then just crash on Monday.
Shout out to my man Alex Hahn in the building. Hoop, I want to ask you about this one. Being a Ben Johnson guy, you know a little bit about multiple running backs, sticking with the hot hand. What do you think the coach speak is on this guy? Because Swift was an injury, then a personal issue, now good. The props also, by the way, I'm taking Title's job for a second only because I was monitoring them yesterday. Monangai was up higher than Swift yesterday. They flipped that around now, and Swift is back up, I think, about 7 or 8 yards on the ground higher than them, amongst other things. The touchdown favorite is Swift over Monangai, but they're both there. What's your thoughts on this running back situation?
I think it's really not that much of a conversation for DFS. I mean, when you look at the landscape nowadays, you just need monster scores all over the board. So like when guys are somewhere close to a 50-50 split, which Monangai clearly earned more carries last week, they're going to be in some sort of split, makes it tough. There's very few situations where we're playing running backs that are in a split. Like the Lions guys, I think are definitely an exception where you can probably make the case for Gibbs and Montgomery, but they're out there together a lot. So that makes it a little bit easier. I don't know. The fact that Monangai had that performance last week just kind of makes me not want to play either. You need, probably at least 20 from your running backs, maybe more. They could get there in a split for sure, but it makes it much, much more difficult. So, the fact that they're probably somewhere close to like 60-40 one way or other, I'm just like probably out on it.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering I guess we've seen the Gibbs Montgomery stuff, but even that, it's always like they're both good. And plus the Lions also typically put up a lot more points on teams. And, looking when Ben Johnson was there, they're pounding every team. Now the Bears do still have a pretty big team total this week. So I'll say that. Is there anything else, Hoop, within this game that you have interest in? If you're avoiding that, is it the defenses? Do you want to go back to double O, Rome Odunze, where those O's turned into zeros as we saw? Anything at all excites you within this game?
It, this is a spot where the weather situation does have me much, much lower on it than I would be. It's only like 30-mile-an-hour gusts. Like it does not look like a good weather game here by any stretch of the imagination. So, I'm out on, I think, just about all the Chicago stuff. Like I don't think I'm playing any of these guys. On the Giants side, maybe some Dart, maybe some Wan'Dale Robinson. But that's it. Like I think the highest owned part of this game for me will be Wan'Dale, and he can just get like short passes and shouldn't be as impacted by the win. But I'm really just not super interested in this one.
Yeah, I think Dart skinnies maybe, or like Dart with two cheap guys, just because I'd be fine if it's like a Wan'Dale and Theo or something. Like those guys could just both chop it up over the middle, get a bunch of those catches and still be fine. The total did drop some, but sitting at 45.5, it's not like they just came off the rails with it. It's still there. And I think the thing about Dart is we just see how much he runs. I looked this up yesterday too. Like I said, I'm turning into title with this stuff, but his rush prop I think was 41.5 as well, on top of like almost 200 yards passing. And again, he's not a guy I'm expecting to get the bonus or anything, but those passes can just rack up. If he ends up taking it over during, at the end zone, could definitely see something there. So I think that's pretty interesting as well. Anything else on this game title that you've got? If not, you could take us into the Jags at the Texans. Looking at the stone, not seeing too much here, but maybe one or two one-offs or a skinny stack or something like that. A secondary stack, sorry, maybe something like that. But anything else you see here?
Not really. I think we're getting the worst games out of the way. I will say Nico Collins is someone I'm seeing right now with Saberson like 5-ish%. I mean, if that's the case with Nico at 6,700, the price feels cheap. People are going to go more expensive for Puka or JSN. And honestly, like I'm not saying Davis Mills is an upgrade for the offense. I truly am not sure. It could be an upgrade to Nico though, in the sense of just his first read will always be Nico. And yeah, like he has clear 100+ yard upside. He's low owned. The price at 6,700 looks cheap. It's in a dome, big play upside. Like that's just the one spot at low ownership that I think could break the slate, and I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, someone said Jaguars defense. I'm fine with that. I also think they will get a decent amount of ownership though. You see a 2,600 price tag against a backup quarterback, and it checks out. I don't hate ETN. I guess that's the last thing. When running back so concentrated today with CMC, Rico, and Achane, like I'm trying to figure out what are these other guys that are going to be sub 10% or whatever that have 20+ point upside. I mean, ETN's been a horse for him recently, and he's looked really good eye test wise. No one's playing this game. If I one off ETN or one off Nico, or in really chalky lineups, I skinny stack the two, I think I'd be good with it. But really just those two for me.
Hoops. Speaking hoops language, Chunky Blue rocking the fresh logo. Love that. What do you think, Hoop? Anything in this game? I mean, our guy Alex, by the way, did bring up pretty good point in this one. The spot a lot of people seem to be landing in this game is on the Jaguars defense at $2,600 going up against Davis Mills. But thoughts on Jags at the Texans, Hoop?
Yeah, I mean, super low total. I mean, it looks like it could be ugly. I mean, both teams projected to score under 20, which is obviously, less, 3 touchdowns or less. Nico Collins at low ownership, like you just play a little bit. Like, I mean, there's a chance you play 5%. If you're MMEing, if you play 5%, you could be like over the field on Nico Collins. And Davis Mills is fine. Like he can move the football. Like, yes, he's not a starting quarterback, but he's better than a typical backup, and he's been in this role before. So I'm fine with some Nico. I'm going to definitely get some of him, and again, it's not going to take much to get overweight, but that's probably it. Yeah, I'm unfortunately probably out on Schultz. There's just too many tight ends. Like there's just so many cheap tight ends. He's got to outperform probably all of them, and I love Schultz, but I don't have faith in him doing that today. On the other side, when Brian Thomas got ruled out, I thought Parker Washington would just be like a super popular chalky play, and it doesn't appear to be the case. Like, to me, they brought in Jacoby Myers, but at least for today, Parker Washington's going to be wide receiver 1. Like, he already has the connection with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, tons of targets recently with Brian Thomas out there. Like, I think Parker Washington is a really, really good play. I mean, 9 targets, 10 targets the last 2 games. Now Brian Thomas is out, and the other guy just got into town like yesterday. So I'm in on Parker Washington, and then I like the ETN call. I think ETN's a really good play today. I mean, a guy that's going to get a majority of the work. Fair price tag has a big role, like Title said. So, my favorite part of this game is definitely Parker Washington, then ETN, and then I'll get some Nico just because it's not going to take much to get overweight on him.
I got a question for you, Hoop. Davis Mills or Kyler Murray? You need one game. Your life depends on it. Who's your quarterback?
I mean, honestly, like, people will laugh, but it's clearly Davis Mills. Like, Kyler Murray can't win football games. Right? It's not even like I've been beating the drum for a while, and people, oh, you're so crazy to say Kyler Murray's a bottom 5 quarterback in the NFL. Oh, who's laughing now? It's me, because I was right and you were wrong. I mean, you get your career over because Jacoby Brissett is better than you. Man, that's not a good look.
How much did he make? What's
a lot?
It was like 230 million, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of money. It is a lot
230. Good memory.
Someone will be dumb enough to pick him up, though. Someone will do it.
Oh man, the NFL picks up everybody. If you could be a 75-year-old coach that's horrible, get picked up. You could be literally anything in the NFL. It's you were there, you did anything, you got paid $1 before, you're good. We will take you. Like, that's the NFL for you.
Yeah, he'll find a spot. Someone will do it next year.
But
that's one, man. We'll always take our L's, but man, I'm taking my W.
Yeah, you were way ahead of the curve on that one.
Yes.
The chat's talking about the baseball thing. That's why I said it didn't matter because he got paid in the NFL. It's like it was only if something happened to him that it was like, oh, you would have wanted that Oakland Athletics deal or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. So he got paid. He can play COD or whatever it is all day long now if he wants to. So that's fine. But a couple other things in this game. Someone mentioned in the chat, I think it's pretty sharp too, this is the opposite D spot. Like, we have seen Trevor Lawrence look bad in a ton of spots. I like the ETN call if you're going there. If you want to play with the Jags D, maybe it could be the Jags D with ETN to cut into it some, and that is a way to get after it differently. But if not, we don't know if Parker Washington is a wide receiver 1. Interestingly enough, even Diami Brown got 7 targets last week, and I know Parker had a few more, but that it's for $1,000 less. It's not like everyone's going there, so it could be a way to separate. But Lawrence has made plenty of mistakes this season, and so we could see that the Texans D becomes a pretty good spot at 3,100. Most people this week with defense are paying down or paying all the way up. I don't see a lot of people stopping in the middle. And I will say, even going back to that previous game, even the Bears at 3K. Right there, like these 2 last home defenses in the Bears and weather or the Texans at home opposite of the Jags, those could be pretty good spots. Last thing I'll say is Ham was talking me into Parker Washington and Christian Kirk as 2 cheapies. If you want a little cheap secondary stack there, you could see Kirk in the slot. I guess for the chat talking about the Schultz stuff too, even Hoop's not going to be there. But man, I think you said it perfectly, Hoop. If Schultz was to be there, that would have to be a big game, which means Davis Mills would have a big game. So I guess if you wanted to do something like Mills, Collins, Schultz, Washington, or ETN or something like that, you could do something like that. I think is an option as well, where you could get after, but it's low total. You got to know what you're messing with, but you're basically doing it to get CMC, Gibbs, Dowd. Like you want to get everybody in at that point and just not care because you're on such a different stack overall. So, all right, we're going to get to the Bills at the Dolphins in just a second. Before we do, definitely want to tell everybody about our promotion right now with Splash Sports. If you go to Splash Sports and use code SHIPIT, this is a much bigger deal right now because they're doing a ton of promos. They're just giving away a ton of, talk about free money Sunday. This is about as free as it can possibly get. And if you're already playing on Underdog or you're already playing on DraftKings Pick 6 or anything like that, the money is just not being given away like this. You could literally go look it up. It's public knowledge. Splash Sports is raising money. They're doing promotional marketing gigs to give it back. If you use code SHIPIT, you get a $50 deposit match right out of the gates, up to $50. Then you get a 100% payout boost on your first Quick Picks entry. And then if I do show the stage, I'll go over here just for 2 seconds to share it. Then there's another $20 free on here. It kicks everybody else out for a second, but just to show it, when you're on Splash Sports, there's a no sweat $20 up to 4 picks today. So go to Splash Sports, use code SHIPIT, get in, you'll get deposit $50, you'll get $50 free. Then you can go use $20 of it for free to win a big boost on top of that. So I don't know, Hoop, if you have anything to add, but I think we've been telling people about this for a while now. We're going to have a ton. I know the Rick Run Good one and done just came out that a lot of people are going to be loading up into. We've got a ton of Survivor action. Anything else there that you want to add on Splash side of things, but giving away a ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing this game or you're new to it and want to check it out, like you need to come here first. I mean, the deals are phenomenal. I keep using the same example, and that's kind of what I do, and I'm gonna stick to it. It's like I went on, signed on, and I have 6-7 boosts just waiting there for various sports, various amounts, and then I got the emails coming through where they're doing, more promos, more. I mean, they are committing a lot of the money that they raise, like Tambo talked about, public information. They've raised a lot of money. They're committing a lot of that to customer acquisition, which means the deals and that money is being pushed to the customers to incentivize them to come. How is that opportunity to take advantage of that? Because it will at some point probably run out. So at least what you want to do is get in there, make the deposit, use our code, and then you're going to be in and ready to roll regardless. And they're continuing to improvise, add on, and improve their product. And, we're happy to be partnered with them.
Yeah, I love it. You said 6-7 boosts over there. So you've been programmed now. It's built into your brain.
It is locked in. I'm telling you. Coaching the kids at that age I'm just locked in on it. It's
pre-programmed, but the funny thing is there is like literally 5 or 6 boosts in there right now. So if you actually want to not exaggerate and use that, it's still right there. A couple other things people brought up before we go to the next game title was the Kirk revenge game, and then Jacoby Myers birthday narrative too. But Willie K says gets the Stingley treatment for his birthday. So we'll have to see. Ship it one and done. Maybe we'll tell you about that as it becomes a thing. But anyway, you guys have been with us. We're 2.5 years in now at Ship It Nation. We've almost promoted nobody. I think Drafters was the last one we did with Best Ball. Title obviously won the $250K over there. We did a ton. We haven't done as much in the Best Ball streets. There's just a lot of other things out there, and we're focused on what we focus on. But we are more than heavy in on Splash Sports. We've talked about it a ton. We've got a ton of things on the horizon. They're supporting us to give back to you. It's peer-to-peer, which is what we love. That's what we're all about. Community, DFS, all these types of games fit this mold perfectly. So you'll keep hearing about that one for sure. Title, next game up, Bills at the Dolphins. Division battle here. Dolphins at home. Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, just check that out quick, Tambo. I don't know if the back end has to do it or what, but welcome, Clint.
Up. Yeah, just of note, the $199 deal we'll show off in a little bit here, but just for Clintwood, you can email info@shipitnation.com or in the Discord tag @shipitnation and let them know, and they'll make sure that you get access pretty much right away. Customer service always on point, number one focus for us.
Yep. Definitely the best deal again. Shout out to our college football team. Puts in a lot of work. It's not just Saturdays, a lot of weekday slates there. For this game, I mean, Dolphin side is really easy in the sense of it's Achane, and if you want to go Waddle, I don't hate Waddle. I mean, looking at the stone, though, it's pretty clear where Buffalo is weak at and where they're good at. They're weak on the ground. They're better against the pass, and it really is just Waddle as the focus on the outside. So I don't really love him much. Achane's going to be popular. Of McCaffrey, Rico, Achane, I would say I'm most worried about Achane. I think all are good, and Achane has so many ways to get there with his receptions. But I mean, man, they're still pretty big underdogs. They really don't have too many offensive weapons. If you're the Bills, you take away Achane, you let others beat you. Again, 7,400 is a solid price. He fits the scoring perfectly. I definitely do like Rico and CMC more, though, if picking. Josh Allen stuff, he feels too cheap at 7K. And with double tight ends, with tight ends being too cheap, you can go receiver. Like, you can fit him if you want. The problem is when you play Josh, who do you play him with? It's clearly it's made it easier as the years went on with how bad Keon Coleman's been. I think it's Shakir and Kincaid. And more than likely, I'm probably picking one. I don't hate when you pick two, but it feels like when Josh really gets there, he's at least rushing one in. You could play Achane as the run back. And then if I'm not playing Josh or really anything there, James Cook. We've seen it so many times this year. Their willingness to run the football, he's been so good. They're implied for 30 points. If you run a James Cook, and that's pretty much it, or James Cook Achane even, since Achane's not your prototypical running back, you can get a lot of the points that way. So I want to be in on this game. I think Buffalo moves the ball and puts up points. I just don't know whether it's going to be converted with Josh Allen or James Cook. So I'll play my teams differently depending on which ones I play.
Yeah, still waiting on. I think it's not like a big thing on the slate, but for the Achane stuff, I'm going to talk to Hoop about here in a minute. The Ollie Gordon news.
That's pretty big news. I am interested in that, just in the sense of the goal line work and some base work that they're more willing to give Achane probably, not Jalen Wright if he's out. So that's a good call.
And they've been just feeding Gordon, and it's early in games too. It's not like the decorum stuff sometimes is when it's Rams already up or it's late in the game or something. With Gordon, he's been getting into the mix on a full point PPR site like DraftKings. The more we can protect anything extra or be able to move that stuff around, the kind of better it feels. Hoop, one topic yesterday that came up, and I'm curious the chat's thought too. Let me ask the chat this, and I'll put it up and get your take. Achane or Cook? Only get one. Let us know in the chat if you could have Achane or Cook today, because you got the $7,500 available, and you can get Cook for $7,500 or you can get Achane for $7,400. Let us know who you're going to be playing today in your running back or flat, whatever. It's more than likely going to be your running back slot early game. But Hoop, any thoughts on this Achane versus Cook situation and how you think it plays out?
Probably Cook, just because he's going to be lower owned. Achane's going to definitely get some ownership, and I think there is some. I think Title touched on nicely, some decent bust potential. I mean, I don't think he busts, but like, would you be surprised? Like, no. And how does that happen? If the Bills just beat the shit out of the Dolphins today, which is definitely in play. So I'm fine with Achane. Definitely prefer more on DK, where he can get like 8 catches or something like that, and doesn't even need to get a touchdown in order to kind of fully get there. So I'm fine with them. The Ollie Gordon stuff, yeah, I mean, maybe it would be a little bit of a boost. Got to kind of wait and see on that. But someone did put in here, where is it? Maybe it was something about Dulcich. He was clearly tight end 1, and they used him a lot last week, and he is $2,600. Like, I don't think it's actually like the worst play. Yeah. I don't think it's like the worst play in the world. A lot of people are good with like those 3K, mid 3K and above. Like, you go down to Dulcich, you're kind of in a different territory, a different sort of build. So I actually don't hate that play. But I agree with Title on the Buffalo stuff, like Allen, Shakir, Kincaid. Allen's too cheap at 7K. I mean, if you're building a lot of teams, I think you should have some exposure to him. And then, like, if it's not him, we've seen it, throughout the years. James Cook has the ability to just go out and nuke a slate. So nothing really more to add, but it is pretty clear. It's like with Allen, it's Shakir, Kincaid, most likely like one of the two is good enough. James Cook is fine, and then I'm not playing like Waddle or anything on the. It's crazy. The Buffalo offered a first-round pick for Waddle. That's That is insane to me, if true. But that's a side note. But yeah, pretty much same thoughts here as title.
So I think Alex and I talked about it yesterday. The chat's confirming it. Look at all the cooks, like millions of them. This is the thing. Like, I think the ownership gets a lot tighter the closer we get to lock, because the main thing is when people miss out, that when they're not going to Kincaid and they can't get to Josh Allen or figure it out, how do they just get a piece of this 30-point team total in what's still a really good matchup? It's actually better on the stone. If you look, it's a better matchup, just as good, whatever you want to call it. It's technically slightly better, but either way, it's only $100 more and you can get to it. I actually think more people are moving to James Cook, and that could be interesting because I like Kincaid in this spot. The chat talked about that a little bit too. If I'm picking a spot, I like an Achane Kincaid little mini in there as well. If you went Waddle, I'd be fine with it. But yeah, I don't have too much love for this game overall outside of, if I'm stacking Allen, you guys said it perfectly. It's Shakir. It's just two of, Shakir, Coleman, and Kincaid for me. But obviously Coleman's a tough click, more large field stuff. Cook, when you land on that spot, is to get a piece of this game. But I do feel like in higher dollars, smaller field, particularly, I think more people are clicking Cook. And if they have the $100, they end up going there. Maybe the Ollie Gordon news would change things and people move back to it. But even the projections, we have a higher projection on James Cook at $100 more for points as well. So optimizers, you think about it from that perspective too. I don't know. I guess it's an interesting title. Did you have anything else you want to add on this game or that? And then if not, we can go to Ravens at the Vikings.
Yeah. So Josh Allen, James Cook, what are your guys' thoughts on that pairing? I mean, are you just sacrificing too much on a 10-game main slate where James Cook runs like any James Cook rushing touchdown? Josh obviously can't score then. If you do play it, how do you play it? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'd be mostly like out on it. I mean, the path for them to get there is the Bills scoring like 40. If you think the Bills go out and score like 42 real life points, I think they can both get there, but I think that's what you need. You need that to happen for that to pay off, just because the price tag and what you're sacrificing at the positions.
Yeah, I think you'll get it in some stuff, and it's not great for me. Like it's same as the Barkley Hurts one, and that's tush push related, but this is also similar. Once they get in tight, it's one or the other, and Josh Allen loves to just take those, and so that would hurt him. Like Cook almost needs to score from the 12 and out type thing. Once they get inside, it's kind of just push the pile with Allen, push it again, but maybe it's Cook, but then that just hurts the other side. So it reminds me of Hurts and Barkley. I like it better when it's a cheaper combo, right? If you can get a cheaper version of that, then I'd maybe be more interested, or where it makes more sense, but it can definitely happen. Hoop said it perfectly. It's going to be if there's something like 40 points or 35 plus in the bill. It's just those two that you get it right on. So see how it goes. Yeah. That's my 2 cents. Ravens at the Vikings title. I'll stay with you. Lamar, $200 less than the previously mentioned Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, only 5,900. The trying to figure out the tight ends there. And then of course, Justin Jefferson, your boy, on the other side, mixed with the others. What's your thoughts on this game? Ravens at the Vikings. Another one with the interesting line, by the way. Only 3.5 for the Ravens. JJ McCarthy is good now after we shit talked him last week.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely looked a little better. Unfortunately, he's not good enough, or I haven't seen it enough to get my guy Jefferson or too much of. I want to wear that jersey one of these days, but man, it's tough right now. It's 7-9. It's clear JSN, Puka, some others up top. Honestly, I prefer Jordan Addison for the $2,500 savings and what it does to my team if I do play a run back in this game. I'll throw it to you, Lamar versus Josh Allen in terms of ownership. How do you think, is it even? Like Josh projects better at most sites or most places. However, I do think it's a little harder to pair him for the sense of Andrews is so cheap. Zay looks cheap enough. I think it's easier to pair Lamar, but Josh projects a little better. What do you guys think in terms of ownership for those two?
Similar. I think I think they're pretty close. And for me, I'm just playing them similarly as well. Like I think their ownership is going to be pretty close, and I'll have probably equal shares of both guys.
I think our ownership is pretty accurate on those two right now, the way it looks. Like it's going to come in close. I don't know if Zay actually stays as high. He's going to be high because he's 5,900, but it doesn't seem like people are running to put Lamar Zay lineups, but obviously
I think that could come down. I agree.
They're going to be filled together. You'll see those guys together when they're being played a ton when you look at just the combo of Lamar and Zay, but I'm saying like the Zay almost 30% ownership. I don't fully think that's going to be the case either.
Well, yeah, that makes me a little happy to hear. The like I've been going back and forth. I like Josh. I like Lamar a lot. I think both have 35+ point upside. I think the Ravens move the ball very effectively. It's just like when I don't play Lamar stuff, I think I want a good amount of Derrick Henry or a decent amount. Just like when I'm not playing Josh Allen, I want James Cook. I want to bet on these two offenses moving the ball and being effective. And then when I play Lamar, I have clear pairings. Mark Andrews at 3,400 is just way too cheap. Isaiah Likely, someone asked about him. Sure, 2,900. He falls in the box once. Kind of a pivot off of Mark Andrews. I like it. And then Zay Flowers, 5,900. I mean, I hope he moonwalks back. With Lamar Jackson, Zay is just completely underpriced. I think if Lamar was there all year, I think you could see Zay in the low 7Ks or something like that. So in a dome, I think they move the football. I hope the Vikings push them a little bit. Addison's my clear favorite run back when I go that route, but I don't even think you need a run back at the end of the day. If it's a little bit of Mason, a little bit of Addison, a little bit of Jefferson, but none of them do enough at their price tag, I think you can just go Lamar doubles and do it that way. But I do think Derrick Henry, and then if you want to go Ravens defense, could be a very, very low owned option, probably when you're spending down at quarterback and chalkier stuff.
One thing is, Hoop, on this game, the Ravens are for the first time fully healthy with everything, both sides of the ball, good to roll. That's why I just don't get this. And every time I advocate for it, I get crushed. But man, like, if the Ravens lose this game, their season's over. This is part of the clear run out that they need to happen. And I know it's one game. People think it's dramatic, whatever. The division does still suck. Maybe I'm sure the math still gets them there. I'm just saying, like, this is the type of game you just have to go out and win on the schedule and make it happen. Sometimes they play down to their competition. They can't afford to right now.
Yeah. I just think it's just the NFL so week to week with like the betting stuff, and like what happened the previous week has such an impact on the number that we see in the current week, and the Vikings beating the Lions is enough for them to like shift it like 3 points. Like it could have been like if I was making this line, I'd say Baltimore -6, but that's because I don't respect the Vikings as much as what we saw last week. I mean, they beat the shit out of the Lions, and that just moves it so much week to week. And I think that's why we're seeing that number from a DFS perspective. I'm playing Lamar Jackson, just too cheap. I mean, 6,800. Like that's the problem with like Lamar Jackson and Josh. Not the problem, but the reason you play him if you're making a lot of teams. Like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson could go out and have average games, maybe slightly above average, and be the winning quarterback you need. When you start comparing them to the other options, like the popular options on the slate are Mac Jones, Jacoby Brissett, J.J. McCarthy on the other side. Like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson could sleepwalk to being QB1 this week on this main slate. So that's why you just have to play those guys if building a lot of teams. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews are the pairing, I think, with Lamar. And it is tough really to play much outside of that. But I do like both of them individually. On the Viking side, Aaron Jones is going to play now, so that really takes him and Jordan Mason out of the equation. Justin Jefferson, like he has a real price, and like Toto said, like I haven't seen it with JJ McCarthy yet, so I think I have some, but like not a lot. Jordan Addison, I don't mind at 54, like just a couple plays and he could get there, but it is tough on the Viking side. But I will say, McCarthy is getting some ownership because he's 4,900. So I don't love that side, but I do love the Lamar Jackson side. I'm going to play it. And try to at least get like a little bit overweight on like Lamar Jackson today.
Yeah, I'm thinking the McCarthy side too is interesting. If if you have the Vikings sticking in the game a little bit here, I would have thought the line would have been 6.5. Something that if they wanted people to be like, wait, the Vikings just beat the Lions. Now they're at home. I could get in on this. Maybe that would interest people. But anyway, outside of that, I would say McCarthy, Jefferson, one of Addison or Hawkinson, and then using Derrick Henry on the other side is kind of, something I've come around on a little bit that I think is a bit interesting for this slate, just because that game could go back and forth. And sometimes, like I said, the Ravens do play down to their competition, and people will say, oh, what do you mean? The Vikings are so good. They just beat yeah, maybe. But like, I'm like, Hoop, I just don't fully see it. And I thought the Ravens would just be a lot more in a lot better spot here. The other thing is with the Josh Allens and the Lamar Jacksons, I'm playing them both, but I'd be lying to myself if I didn't, tell everybody the truth on the fact that I feel like they both are turning into Mahomes spots as well. Like, how do you it could easily be Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman, and Likely today. And then you got Zay Flowers and Andrews or whatever else it is. Like they can go to anybody at any given time, and you already pay the price because what they can do with their legs and all these different factors. It actually is really hard to get these spots right with these expensive quarterbacks. And this week, they're not really even expensive. They kept them down at 68 and 7. It's just a lot more money than the 5K, 5,200, 4,900, those types of quarterbacks. So I don't know, not too much else to add here. I think the Ravens D will be lower owned. If you don't believe in McCarthy in that offense, then I think the Ravens D fully healthy could be a spot to go to as well. Like I said, they just got to get it done here. And I'm just being a fan for so long. I've seen a million times they do play down to their competition. If they for once don't do that, we could see a spot where they just crush here, and that could be a big day. So interesting game anyway for this slate. Title, I'll go back to you. The Browns at the Jets is next up. The chat's been begging for us to talk about Judkins and the Browns D. That is two spots also that I think are getting boosted quite a bit, especially as a combo pack, because once you go to the Browns D, it's like, I may as well just put Judkins, or if you land on Judkins, I can just drop down to the Browns D at 2,900. Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, Browns, Jets, what a game we got in week 10. Definitely playing some Judkins, but I definitely need Hoops take on Judkins first, as that guy sees the future with him. I do see the steam definitely in play with Judkins, Browns defense, which is like it even got steam that one day. I plenty of people watching the show. I don't think it's the whole DraftKings lobby, but when I liked him the spaghetti straps day, it was showing 5%. He came in 13%. I mean, that's a huge difference where you have him at. Browns defense, yeah, I mean, if they're getting steam, perfect spot. Go to the other side with the Jets. I mean, they're still implied for 20 points. Dylan Gabriel, this guy, I do not think is the answer one bit. I really have been going back and forth, and I want to, with Justin Fields, and I might still get him at 5,200. People are going Mack and McCarthy and all these other ones down below. It just takes one play for this guy, like 150-yard rushing touchdown. Or you can play him with Garrett Wilson at 6,100. The way to beat the Browns is, I mean, through the air. The stone that they show, they're good at both, and there's no doubt about it. But their front seven is not going to let Brees and them run, which I think makes Garrett Wilson one-on-one coverage. If he can beat him, he'll be low-owned. Fields will be low-owned. You can go Judkins on the way back if you want to, but you can play all the chalk after that. So, yeah, I'm interested in y'all's take, but I'm Garrett Wilson, Justin Fields at like no ownership is something I am looking at a little bit.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game and spot. The total is just so low. We've seen these games go back and forth. The Jets just lost their whole defense, or gave it away, we should say. So maybe that's part of it. But Hoop, you got any other takes on this game here? Jets at home versus the Browns?
I kind of like what our guy Nade's kind of posted. It's like, if everyone's going to like Judkins Browns D, like, why don't you just flip it to like Brees and the Jets D? And I get they got rid of some pieces, the Jets defense, but it's like, it's 1 week daily fantasy sports, and you're talking about a position in defense where like just one play can be enough to get there. So I don't love the Judkins stuff today, just because, again, people are playing him, and like they're still not projected to score many points, and it's the freaking Browns. So I'm not as excited. Like, he's in my pool, currently underweight on him. I think I prefer Brees Hall straight up if deciding between the two. So I'll have more Brees than Judkins. But I'm playing both defenses. I'm playing these quarter, and I don't hate the Justin Fields to Garrett Wilson stuff. Like, no one's going to be playing it. It looks nasty, but man, like, he has shown the ability to get Garrett Wilson the football. And like, there's nobody else on. I mean, look at who the competition is for targets. Allen freaking Lazard. Are you kidding me? Tyler Johnson, like the backup. I mean, this Mason guy, Mason Taylor, we've played him. He's fine, but like, come on. Like, if this game is competitive, like, Garrett Wilson has a chance for a lot of targets today. So that's probably my favorite part of this game. Garrett Wilson at the ownership has got to be.
Oh, it'll be like nothing. Yeah, because he even had a Q tag up until the end, right? So
yeah, we're showing like 5. Yeah, it probably come to, I bet it's like 4. I bet probably 4%. And he could get like 12 targets or something today. And he's had success with this quarterback. So I'm in on that a little bit for sure. But yeah, it's not a great game overall. I mean, 37 total to absolutely dead teams in the NFL.
Yeah, it'd also be great. Like we said, that's the leverage is not, even if you don't go to the Hall Jets D stuff, because the Jets D may not be part of what it is. It may be that because the Jets D is essentially, like I said, given away now to other teams, it may be that we see it a little bit more competitive where there is a pace pickup here. And then you have it where it's Fields, Wilson. You don't even need a run back. Or if you wanted to put someone like Judkins into that, you could do that as well. I think that's another interesting way to go against the Browns D in this spot, which is going to be popular on this DFS slate. And then what's the other spot? He says, can you all touch on double tight end? Yeah. I mean, I think the thing about double tight end is we haven't got there yet. I think it involves a lot of people. I think it involves Trey McBride. I think it involves Kittle. I think it involves Henry. I think it involves all the guys that are upcoming. Yes, previous ones have been mentioned that you can put in there, but it's definitely a double tight end day that you can use. Kincaid would fit it from earlier. Laporta is going to fit it. These guys are priced at nothing prices. I think McBride is the most expensive at $6K. Obviously, we'll get there in a minute. Though, going back, Judy was another one the chat talked about. $3,900. He's been horrible, but $3,900. I mean, that's pretty crazy when he's the most expensive wide receiver on the Browns offense. If they do put up the 20 points, I just don't know. I guess it's Harold Fannin and Njoku. Maybe that's where it comes from, or Judkins. But yeah, interesting pivot there as well. I think he's a good leverage option to the Judkins ownership also. Patriots at the Bucks. Hoop, I'll go back to you. This is where it starts to get really interesting, where it's the last of the morning games, but all these quarterbacks between these last four games, I mean, Drake May, Baker Mayfield, we're about to touch on. Then we get Brissett versus Darnold in a game that's got a lot of ownership with Stafford and Mac Jones after that, and then Goff and Mariota to round it out. So 4 more games. I'll let you take us into this one first. Bucks at home versus the Patriots.
So apparently we've whiffed on not mentioning Cedric Tillman. Like Cedric Tillman, the pass catcher for the fucking Browns that are projected to score 18 points. And like, again, Cedric Tillman is throwing him the football. Like, Dylan Gabriel is throwing him the football. Like that's a miss. Like, yeah, sure, play him if you want. Maybe it's talking about FanDuel. He is 4K.
FanDuel, you got 4K.
Yeah, I'd play him there for sure. So
I still don't even know how much. I mean, the guy's receiving props 26.5. Like he is in play on FanDuel for sure, but
4K. Yeah. Like you can get a 0 on FanDuel and you're still fine. Yeah. This Patriots Bucks game, big total. 48.5, 49. I think it's fine. No Rashad or what's the name? Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson. So Henderson appears to be the guy, and there's good coach talk around it. They said they want to get Henderson more involved. And then this the Kyle Williams stuff, I guess, is a little concerning because they already just throw the ball to so many different dudes. And now you add another guy into the mix. It makes it tough. We talked about this a lot this year to play Drake May teams. It's clearly him with Hunter Henry if you want, maybe Stephon Diggs, but like Mac Hollins has had success. Demario Douglas has had success. There's just so many different guys involved. I am playing some Drake May stuff, but it's mostly with Hunter Henry. And then on the other side, Ibuka, I think is a really good play. Tez Johnson, Cade Otton. I do like the Baker Mayfield stuff. And then Rachaad White too. It's a nice thing about the Buck stuff. Like you can play Baker with Rachaad White and kind of cheap on FanDuel. I think the 7,300 price tag on FanDuel is nice for Rachaad White. They really haven't touched his price all that much. So I think overall, very good game. A lot of different options. I think the overstack in play here. This game could score some points. I mean, both offenses have been effective this year, so I'm definitely in on this one.
Yeah. I think this is the thing I said earlier, title in the Discord. I think it was last week or a couple of weeks ago with the Drake May stuff. I joke about never Mahomes, and I said hashtag never May Holmes. He's like a mini Mahomes because Drake May, it's really hard to put it together. You get guys out, and you still don't. I mean, Diggs, Douglas, Hollins, William, Henry. No, it's not Henry. It's Hooper. Now in the end, you're like, what the hell? I thought I got my guy. You think you have it, and I also think we'll talk about this in a second. But Henderson is interesting because he catches passes as well. And this has actually been a good spot. Well, it's not a great matchup for running backs, and people look at that. It's been a little bit better for pass catching backs. And that's kind of what we saw when they said get him more involved last week, a little bit more through the air and trying to get him some targets. So what's your thoughts here? Patriots going into Tampa Bay up against Baker Mayfield, Ibuka, Tez, Otton. He's got some guys over there as well.
Yeah, probably my favorite game that we've talked about thus far. I love that it's a pass funnel on both sides. If neither team can run the football, which if you're looking at the stone, it's kind of telling you that. And to make it even better, Rachaad White, I mean, good out of the backfield. Travion Henderson, definitely a pass catching back. I think both teams got to throw the football. And when that's the case, Buck side's easier and probably why I'm going to play more of it, because you play Baker and then you can play Tez, Igbuka, Otten. Pick two of the three and move on. It's pretty easy there. May's been tough, like you said. I mean, I think, been ahead of the curve. Drake May's balling. He looks really good. But when I play him, I play Booty, or I don't play Booty. Booty dominates. I play Booty, then it's Pop Douglas, and Booty gets hurt. It's so hard that route. No, Booty makes it a little more concentrated, but I mean, yes, but no. Kyle Williams is getting talked. There's still Matt Collins. Pop Douglas, obviously Diggs, Henry. I do think it's clearly Henry is the first one people go to, and I like it at 3,500. But if May fully gets there, I don't know. I guess I would take that back. I was going to say he probably brings someone along with, but he can rush in one or two. Drake May stuff's still hard to figure out, but my favorite Patriot is definitely Travion Henderson. He's going to get squeezed a little bit on DraftKings. FanDuel, he will be more popular because he offers the value. He fits the scoring worse on FanDuel, but I mean, just the role last week was very promising. Got a decent amount of base work, almost all the pass catching stuff. I was hoping the props were a little better, 3.5 receptions, 25.5 yards. It's okay. I mean, that's 5.5 points essentially that you're locking up right there. If he gets in the box, I mean, he definitely can have a flame. So I've been talking about him since week 1 and 2 in split backfield stuff. Obviously, I want to play him now in a game environment I love at a price tag that looks pretty good. So my favorite way is go Baker with 2 of Tez, Igbuka, Otten. Travion is my run back. And I don't hate the overstack if you do want to throw a Hunter Henry or something in there as well. Last thing, both defenses are in play too, a sneaky way in the sense of Drake May can take sacks. He uses his legs. He can try and extend plays, but that can turn the ball over. And yeah, I mean, we know Baker. I don't like Patriots defense as much as Tampa, but if neither team can run the football and they get behind, there can be a lot of opportunities for points. I mean, we've seen defenses score 10 plus and the other team score 30 plus real life points. We know how volatile that position is. So yeah, I like this game though quite a bit.
Somebody talked about, with Booty being out, you can still get a little booty here. You can get a Baker Bucks lineup and get that BBL in if you want on this Sunday, because I will say from flipping the game script here, that's the side I feel so comfortable about. Everyone wants Drake May. Here's what we know. Drake May is good enough to push this game. Most people want Drake May and they want to just go, okay, him and Henry, maybe Diggs. And then they're all worried about all these other things. I think you make it easy on yourself. You go with the other side. They have a big team total, look good on our stack rankings, look good on the stone. If you got Ship It Nation, I think you'd be able to find this stuff out. 2 pass funnel spots, really good rush Ds, but like we said, Henderson could still get there. But I like something like Baker, Igbuka, Tez, Otten, or you could even leave Igbuka out if you think Rodriguez for the Patriots is solid. Maybe it's Tez with Otten, who's the opposite of Henry, and then you go with Henderson or Henderson and Diggs. I think Drake May is going to have to get the ball out quick. And if you don't like Drake May here, you don't want to figure out that side, I think the Bucks D is another one. It's $100 more than the Browns, right? Or $200 less, than the Browns at 2,700. I think they're pretty interesting as well. So I actually have a lot of interest in this spot. I think it's a potential for a sneakier game. We'll have to see. It does look like there's a little bit of ownership popping to these guys, but even Igbuka, I just can't trust it. That's that the ownership is going to be that high, because when you think about JSN, Puka, Amon-Ra, Jefferson, there's just so many other options right up there, and then a bunch of options down below that it could get held in check, or maybe we're correct on it and close, but it's still not that much in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, I do have interest in this game. Hoop, anything else you want to add here? The other thing is both teams just pass a ton. Baker got an O-lineman back this week too to protect a little more. I don't know. I feel like this could be a good spot on this slate. Hoop, anything else you want to add here after all that? If not, we'll go to the afternoon games here in a sec. He's muted, but Baker the Millie Maker sounds good too.
There it is, Baker the Millie Maker. Yes. What was the comment earlier about the stash? The
Millie Maker mustache.
Millie Maker mustache. I love that.
I'm just going to keep it now until I win the Millie Maker, and maybe this will motivate me to get there quicker.
Well, then it's like if you win the millie though with the stash, it's not like you can just shave it right off though. So it's like I think you're stuck with the stash for a while now, right? Like regardless, it's like either you win them.
Man, I might just see what it looks like to grow it out completely.
Yeah, yeah.
So get some curls around here, get some curls coming off of it. We'll see. Have to get into they have like special gels and oils you can get.
Yes.
Spin it up and do all this crazy shit. I don't know if I'll be doing all that yet, but we're rolling with it for now. I don't care.
Yeah, but it's a good game though overall to target for sure. I mean, a lot of different ways to play it.
Okay, before we go then, let's see. I want to get this fixed. I want to get my boys in here too. Let's see if I can add them to this. Look at that. Now we got everybody in here. So before we get to the afternoon games, guys, do us a favor. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching this, almost 700 people watching us live. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're continuing to grow, trying to get as many people as possible out there so we can help out with DFS. And this is another way we can help out is if you want to get in over at Ship It Nation, we put up a new promotion. Lots have taken advantage so far. So there is a draw. We'll get to the giveaway part of it in a second. We obviously have Ship It games going on. But the whole season was $3.99 or $4.49, depending on the price that you got in on, including SaberSim. We do include college football. So lots of sites charging $600 for NFL and college football, $300 a piece. We were charging $3.99 or $4.49. With only half the season over, we are dropping it to more than half price. So $199 gets you the remaining 9 weeks of the regular season. It gets you the entire playoffs. It gets you right through the Super Bowl. Even if you don't use the college football and just the NFL, you still get Ship It Games entry for the rest of the season, leading through till week 16. We're giving away, as you see at the top, $50,000 plus in cash and $27,000 plus in prizes. So right now it sits around $79,267. And then it does include SaberSim. And if you join before tomorrow at lock, you go in the draw for a $555 Millie Maker ticket as well. So the odds are not like it's not going to be astronomical. We don't have thousands of people joining or something where it's some big draw. It's going to be a lot less, and you'll have good odds at that as well. But if you're thinking of joining, now's the time to get in. Hoop, anything you want to add before we get to the afternoon games?
I mean, most affordable deal in the industry, and that's something we pride ourselves on is making our content, something where you're not breaking the bank to have access to. You get in with our community into the Discord. And it's just a good family feel, and it's not a crazy price tag. Includes all the sports, as you mentioned. I mean, or includes all the slates, showdown, playoffs when those come around, college football, SaberSim as well. And yeah, if you're on the fence, I mean, this is, what, 200 for the rest of the season, all the way through February. So November, December, January, you're looking at 4 months of full-on content. And a lot of these slates, there starts to be more smaller slates. Those 2-game slate or 3-game slates for Thanksgiving, and then Christmas they have a slate. So it's a ton of different slates for content for, and we'd love to have you. That's for sure.
Yeah, all access exists. Obviously, if you still want that, if you're thinking about it, if you're with somebody else who has SaberSim and you want to come over, we've got it for $139. That's basically the $97 SaberSim package, and then adding our content, which we usually charge $79 for, you can get it for $139. And you actually, if you click this link, get your first payment for $97. So if you're more into the all access stuff and you want to see what it covers, it's all down below there. But that's good enough to go through it for you guys. I mean, it is what it is. It's $10 or $11 a slate to get in on. So it's definitely worthwhile to check it out. Hoop, I'll stay with you. We're starting off the afternoon games. One thing I'll say about this afternoon set of 3 games, if you're dead in the morning, if Rico Dowdle or if somebody hurts you and it doesn't work out, the afternoon slate is phenomenal. There is 3 really good games. I think every quarterback is in play. You can make a case for a lot of different receivers, running backs, ways to build. I think it's one of the best afternoon-only slates of the entire season, which also means on your main slate, you're going to have to be thinking about late swaps. So keep that in mind also. Hoop, I'll kick it over to you. Seahawks at home versus the Cardinals.
I think it's the potential for a good game. I'll put it that way. So, I mean, you know what you're getting with Seattle. I mean, JSN has been an absolute stud. One wide receiver, I don't know, 1A, 1B with Puka this year. I mean, they've both been absolutely phenomenal. But man, like, he's been so good. The price tag is up there, but it's that's where it should be. And you look at the rest of the Seattle offense, and there's just not much else to play. Like there are, yes, you can play Barner and stuff like that if you want, but when Seattle has success offensively, it's gone through JSN. So like playing JSN like makes a ton of sense. I want exposure to him. The thing that I like about Seattle is they've been scoring quickly too. I mean, they've been pushing the pace, and it's these big chunk plays, which gives the offense on the other side an opportunity to get the ball quickly and do something with it. Now, their defense has also been good, so there is some risk in going against them. But, man, I feel like Brissett's in a pretty good spot here. He's going to have opportunity to do something today. And what I saw last week, I liked with the fact that he was going to Marvin Harrison, like and had a connection with Marvin Harrison. Kyler Murray could not figure it out. Like Kyler Murray was drawing dead at figuring it out with Marvin Harrison. Brissett gets it in there and makes it happen right away. And then you have McBride. So I think like the Arizona side has a chance today. Now, is it, am I 100% confident it's going to work out? Absolutely not. I mean, absolutely not. The Seattle defense has been good. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this could be a game where Seattle looks like one of the best teams in the NFL, which we didn't think was going to be the case earlier on in the season. But I think Brissett will have some chances, and it's going to go to Marvin Harrison, and it's going to go to McBride. So I think you can kind of play this Cardinals side. I can get a majority of the Cardinals offense, and then I can get what could be all of the Seattle offense with JSN. So I think this is a really good spot. People are playing a ton of cheap quarterbacks, and a lot of them look nice. Mac Jones, who else? Mariota, JJ McCarthy. Like, I'll take a chance on Brissett as well. So I like the spot. Is it a slam dunk spot? No, there's not many slam dunk spots. I mean, it's all risk, it's all gamble. But I like the Brissett stuff today. Gonna be overweight on him. And then, obviously really like JSN.
Yeah, this is my favorite comment. Shout out to Langley C. Imagine I win it and I shave it and then frame it after I win. That
would be epic, bro. That would be epic.
Hoop has a picture of his family and his kids, and I'm going to have a picture of a shaved mustache in a frame and just holding it up and get someone to take a picture of that.
That would be so good.
I'll do a lot of things, yeah, for $1 million. Shout out to support. I told you that's one of our main focuses, so I'm glad, Clintwood, you got in there. That's what we're all about. Want to make sure you got taken care of. So that's great to see. And Nick came in, Title. It's your week, buddy. He said it's your 50K plus win in a single entry. But Tambo, you get the win on a multi-entry with that play you've been toying with but not committing to. Who could that be? All right, Title. I'll kick this game over to you. The chat's talking about the Shaheed reunited with Clint Kubiak. There's thoughts on the, we got to wait and see. Barner is also news on this slate too, because Arroyo getting into the mix. Cup, I think, is also news that we'll get this afternoon and wait on. It looks like he's going to be good to go, full participant on Friday. But you've got JSN as one of the talking points of the slate. And then Trey McBride, honestly, it's not like he's getting a ton of ownership, but he is kind of the standout at tight end and can make a lot of these, the two tight end stuff that we talked about earlier work as well, because he's just 6K.
Yeah, the point, or you mentioned it, the afternoon games. Only 3 of the 10 are afternoon games, but I could argue it's 3 of the best games on the slate. Like late swap will most definitely be in play on this one, and there's a lot of different options to go, whether you can want to get on some chalk or you need to avoid some chalk. Yeah, this game, no Torrey Horton is pretty interesting of the sense of Shaheed. Like, I'm not really sure what the role will be week 1, but if he knows the offense kind of like he knows Kubiak. They're already down Horton. The thing with Shaheed is it's just one play. Like, now the offense that was getting chunk plays, a lot of it was JSN's always open. The play action's been great with Darnold. Now there's even more chunk plays to be had with Shaheed and his burners. So I don't hate playing like a 0% owned Shaheed if you are playing Sam Darnold stuff. Darnold to JSN is the easy way, and I like it. The 300-yard bonus is in play. JSN's been a monster. Darnold's ownership has to stay in check, 5,800. I also don't mind pairing him with A.J. Barner, a very cheap tight end that's going to be very low owned. He has outsnapped Arroyo. I probably wouldn't really play him outside of Darnold stuff, but if you want to double stack with him, I think Barner would be my favorite way to go about it. The runbacks, Trey McBride, Marv, I'm good with it. I definitely am lower on the Brissett stuff for the fact of I'm worried that this Seahawks defense just gets after him and Brissett can't move. So I think it could get ugly in a hurry. I mean, he's looked good for sure, but I think Seahawks defense is pretty interesting in this spot.
Yeah, I think our guy Pickett got this one, said Darnold has the best defense. Like if you look at last week's game, I know he couldn't miss, but it was like the Arroyo downfield, the Horton downfield. It sucks we couldn't get JSN and Justin Jefferson 2.0 into this stack because Horton's out. But I think Shaheed is a good call out. It's just people don't want to pay that price because you're paying up for $5,200 just got there. They worry about that, but it's like it could be one play for a guy like him. So I think if you are stacking this, you definitely want to consider it. And there's definitely some good lineups with Darnold, JSN, Shaheed, and then McBride or Marv or something on the other side if you want to go that route. So I think it's definitely an option to go to that here. On the Cardinals side, like I said, I think it's McBride for me mostly, and it's going to be in a lot of I would put him in 2 tight end stuff because I just think if he's going to have a day, you might still want one of those other guys to fit your stack and be able to get there that way. And I definitely think it is a 2 tight end week. So I usually don't like that, but this week I like it a little bit more. All right, Title, I'm going to say with you, I like your call out. Like this is a definite spot where these afternoon games are all really good. This is another really good one, but this seems to be the one where most people are ending up after the way the week's played out. And so for good reason, I think, but it's just because, Jennings Bourne, very affordable. Kittle, very affordable. So if you're not going McCaffrey, Mac Jones stuff works for people. You can play Mac Jones with McCaffrey. And then on the other side, you have Puka, who's obviously picking up some steam. But it was harder to get to Stafford, Puka, Adams lineups before we get a little bit more value on this slate. But now people are starting to make their own value plays up. So what do you think about this one?
Yeah, another good game, I think. I mean, the Rams are just so efficient on offense and can move the ball so well, and it's concentrated really amongst 3 guys in Puka, Devontae, and Kyron. If I'm playing Stafford, Puka, Devontae, you can double stack them. He is priced up in the sense of he's close enough to Lamar and Josh Allen, and there's obviously no rushing upside, where I do think that keeps his ownership very much in check. Puka will be a popular receiver, but play a low-owned quarterback with Puka. I mean, Stafford has 300+ yard bonus. You can do it that way. Yeah, if I'm Puka as a one-off, when I play Devontae, I think I am more likely to play Stafford, but nothing bad to say about the Rams if you're not playing anyone or the pass catchers. Kyron Williams, 6,600, right around James Cook, the Rico stuff. He's in a range where it's harder to click that button. So I think the Rams move the football. It's kind of like Buffalo and the Ravens. I'm just fine playing it in so many ways. Just exposures the offense that I think move the ball. Other side, McCaffrey's the clear chalk play, good play. He's the highest price running back on the slate, like JT's going right now. He's so many outs to get there. Full point PPR. He gets the ball 25+ times. I like it. Do I love it at 9K? I don't know. I mean, I like JSN. I like Puka. I like Nico. To be honest, right now, I'm leaning more of this Lamar, Josh stuff than the spend down quarterbacks. Kind of for the sense like Coop mentioned, or Mariota, Brissett, some of these guys down below I have concerns with, and it just feels like such a good spot for Josh Lamar. So when I play those teams, it's a lot harder to play McCaffrey, which then would lead me, I think, Juwan Jennings, 46, George Kittle, 45, just 2 really underpriced guys. The offense is still beat up a little bit. Mac Jones has moved the football well. Last time, if you guys remember, on the Thursday game, Mac Jones did upset these guys. It was a huge Bourne game. Juwan was out in that game, though. And Kittle was. I'm hoping it's Kittle. I'm hoping it's Juwan. Can run 2 tight ends with Kittle stuff. I really like them. I think there's nothing bad to say about McCaffrey, but when I spend up and more in my builds, I think I'm going to be landing on them and then one other Ram because I do want exposure to this game, and it's probably going to be more skinny stack stuff. But Stafford's price a little tough for me.
I got a couple things I want to go back. One I want to go back on. I forgot this in the previous game. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's definitely something I have interest in on this slate. So I'd want to mention it for sure. Is Kenneth Walker and the Seahawks defense. It's very similar. Like you're landing in a similar defense spot as the other defenses there, like the Panthers or if people go to the Bills or if they get to there was another one that's coming up, Detroit, whatever it is they go to there. I think the Seahawks is interesting, and he would definitely hurt the JSN stuff. Like, how does that game not work out? It hurts everything. It hurts Brissett. It hurts McBride. It hurts JSN. It's good from a leverage standpoint. It doesn't mean no one's going to like the play of Kenneth Walker. I'm just noting it. So I wanted to bring that up. In this game, the one I wanted to bring up was the Bourne spot is 4,500. One thing I went and looked back on. So first of all, obviously Mac Jones and Bourne had a bit of a connection from the Patriots before. Fine. That's not really it, but just noting it is Bourne has like 20-point games. Surprisingly, I mean, people probably don't even remember or think of that, but he does. And we're only 9 weeks in, and Jennings gets a touchdown and still it really makes me think of like Robinson and Slayton. And you are paying a bit more for Slayton in this case in a Bourne spot. Both these guys, it's a little bit different than if you go to that team earlier with the Giants, but even just in general title where we've seen like Robinson can get you 8 catches for 60 and you're like, cool. And that's solid, or 6 for 60, 8 for 60, whatever. And then you get like a 3, 120 and 1 from Slayton. And it's like, oh damn, he just crushed. And maybe a second touch, like anything like that, where I feel like that's at least somewhat interesting here, but I like the overstack, especially if you're not getting to McCaffrey. You could have something like Mac Jones, Jennings, Bourne, and Kittle and run it back with Puka or something along those lines. So I don't know if that helps, but I think that's interesting. And then Williams, if you're not getting to Puka or Adams or anything there, I think Williams is fine as well.
Yeah.
Anything else you can add? If not, I'll kick it to Hoop.
Yeah, no, just props wise in terms of receiving. I mean, McCaffrey leads the Niners with the receiving prop at 51.5 yards. Kittle 50.5, Juwan 47.5, Bourne 33.5. So I found that interesting.
Yeah. Before I go to Hoop, this one threw me off, but I thought it was, dear Lord, well, that looks terrible. I'm sure you got promoted. Yes, Hoop promoted me from co-founder to co-founder with a mustache. So big promotion week for me over here. We're still good.
Huge lateral moves within the Ship It Nation hierarchy with that mustache.
Talk to us about this one, Hoop. We got the 49ers at home. Some people, I guess the thing is with McCaffrey, do you feel like he's at least, do you think 30% is high or low, or like, is it being kept in check because people can't find the value on this slate and he really would be 40, 45 if we could get some value here, or what do you think?
Like anytime guys get to like this price range, it's hard for them to get like way up there in ownership. And he probably should be more expensive, to be honest with you, than the 9K, but it'll be capped just because he's up here. And yeah, like you said, there's not a ton of like absolute standout, super cheap plays. So he's a great play, obviously, in this game, whether you're playing game stacks or whatever you're doing, mini skinny stacks, like he's a great play regardless. Within this game, though, I think my favorite way to play him is kind of leads into what Title said there, that he's the number one receiving prop number to play him with Mac Jones. And people will do it, but that's like my preferred way to do it. And then you're kind of getting everything within this game or this side if the 49ers do have success. So I like McCaffrey with Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. Mac Jones has been legit. I mean, he's been very competent. He's been able to move the football, and he has multiple guys, Jennings, Kittle, and then Bourne should be low on. What's Bourne's ownership? It's got to be a very low number, I'd assume.
Very low.
Yeah, like nothing. Yeah, like absolutely nothing. So totally fine with him, and you can double stack it, whatever you want to do. I like all sides of the 49ers. Struggle with the Stafford stuff. He's right there with Lamar and Josh Allen. So he's got to produce at this price tag. He's got to produce in a big way, and he's done it this year, but I am a little concerned. I currently don't have much of him, and I think I'm just fine with it, to be honest. So not too worried about being off of Stafford or underweight. Kyren Williams, I think, is a really strong play. Like if you can't get to Puka, you can't get to Devontae, and you don't want to pay the price for Stafford, Kyren Williams is a great way to get exposure to the Rams side. And I mean, Rams are projected to score 28. I mean, it's a big boy number. It's 4 touchdowns they're projected to score. Kyren makes a lot of sense, and ownership will be in check. I mean, it's not like he's going to be a popular play today. We're showing 18. I think that's probably on the high end. I think it's probably 15 or maybe even a little bit lower. Puka is interesting today. I think people are choosing JSN over Puka. People are choosing if they're looking for a spend just in general, they're choosing McCaffrey over Puka. I think Puka has a chance to come back here a little bit, and man, like that doesn't make much sense to me. We're showing 23% and that's pretty much the industry standard, somewhere in the low 20s. Man, like I love Puka today. I think he's a phenomenal play. Devontae Adams should be very low owned to me. Like if you're playing a lot of teams, I mean, the 7.7K price tag on Devontae, no one's really going to want to pay that. If you're building multiple teams today, I would get some exposure to him. But another really good game, a lot of different ways to play it. Even, like I said, one way to play McCaffrey is to play him with Mac Jones. A lot of people won't do that. Yes, it'll be owned, but that's something people typically like to avoid. That's kind of my preferred way to play it. But a variety of different ways. The only thing that, I don't love here is definitely Matthew Stafford and that price tag.
So I think it's going to be more of a late swap opportunity. Like I always say, my trademark, because most people that have CMC, first of all, put it this way, most people that have CMC don't have Puka, as much as that you will see that combo together in some lineups. I'm saying it's more going to be a spot where people end up picking one, or they might have CMC with JSN or a different type of build altogether. But I think what's interesting is a lot of people that have CMC could have one of these 6 afternoon quarterbacks. So if that's the case, that quarterback plus CMC alone, and knowing that CMC will be popular, should be able to flip over to Stafford and something, whether it's Puka or Stafford and Adams or whatever that looks like. I think Stafford and Adams is 14-2. Yeah, it's actually less, I think, than Jones and McCaffrey. Now you need another piece to move it around depending on how you have it, or maybe CMC's in your flex and that makes it work too. But you probably have 2 to 3 pieces plus to make the swap. That's where I think it would be, because if you weren't on, especially if you weren't on Allen, you weren't on Lamar earlier, and you just had something after here, and you see those guys go off, you may need to find it through this type of setup. So I think that would be a way to do it where you're different, plus can still find the ceiling. I do like Stafford, Puka, Adams, and I think you can get to it. It's with some of the value, but it is much harder than just going to different places. And there's so many spots you can go on this slate. So I'm thinking about it more as a late swap for me. And I don't have too much else to add here. I mentioned the Bourne call on the other side, setting it up with a big overstack of Jones and then using Puka. I do think Puka is a great spot. And like Hoop said, if it comes down to like 20-ish, even better, because people end up in these other places. So definitely like that. Last game on the slate, I'll go to you first, Hoop. You got the gear on. It is your Lions going in to Washington against now Marcus Mariota-led Commanders team, with Daniels being out. But good news is he didn't hit the IR. So, 3 to 6 weeks, they say, for him. But we got Jared Goff, Gibbs, Montgomery, Amon-Ra, Williams, Laporta, a lot of options on this squad. What's your thoughts on your Lions going into Washington?
Yeah, that's, I guess, part of the problem with the Lions offense. And, yes, they're in a good spot. They're projected to score 29. I think that, second to the Bills on this slate. But when you start looking at this offense, it's a lot of mouths to feed. I mean, David Montgomery has been more involved, and kind of to the detriment of the Lions offense, because, he had more carries, I believe, than Gibbs last week. So when you look at these running backs, you have to imagine they look to get Gibbs involved. They're still talking about getting Jamison Williams more involved. Now they're talking they need to get Isaac Tesla more involved, which, I mean, again, dumb coaches just making dumb moves. Like, why the hell are you still rolling Khalif Raymond out there over Tesla?
They've been saying that since week 1. His catch in the back of the end zone at the end of the game with the Packers. Week 2, he got to get involved. Week 3, and he hasn't done.
They don't use him. Like, they don't give him the opportunity. Like, he's clearly talented. I mean, you don't just easily make those catches he made in the first couple of weeks. So they still talk about that. They got Laporta. Brock Wright is out there getting targets. So it does make it tough when looking at the Lions. Like, a lot of people in the chat are, our guy Pickett, like, they're riding Gibbs today. Well, if they ride Gibbs today, that means the passing stuff isn't going to be there. But it could be Montgomery. There's so many guys. It just makes it very difficult. Now, I'm going to be playing some. I'm going to be playing some of a lot of these guys because, again, they're projected to score 29. But if you're building like one team, it's tough. It's very tough. And then you throw in the fact that this is one of the teams last year that, I mean, from a defensive standpoint, absolutely baffled the Lions in the playoffs. I mean, they followed what the Vikings did and just brought the nonstop pressure. And if you bring nonstop pressure and it gets through, Goff done. We saw it last week. I mean, they just pressure. It's over from an offensive standpoint. So the offensive line really needs to show up here, or it could be, very similar looking offense to what we saw last week. So those are the risks with the Lions. But again, at the end of the day, they're projected to score 29. most likely they have success here. On the Commanders side, Mariota will be popular on FanDuel, 6,300, but it's not to a point where you have to avoid it. A quarterback ownership always gets spread out, but that is definitely a standout price tag over there. I think Debo's fine, 5,600 on DK. Zach Ertz is another tight end that's cheap that you can throw into the mix, but big total in this one, right around 50. Most of it obviously on the Lions side. Gonna play it, but there are definitely some concerns. The two main ones that I laid out there.
Yeah, I think you said it both ways there are good, because if Gibbs get there, it's probably going to hurt the passing attack. But if not, the overstack can work, because if you don't want to try and decide between the running backs and you have Goff, Amon-Ra, Williams, Laporta, don't even need to run it back if you don't want to. Just set it up that way, and then you can sort of fill it in with all the other pieces. I think it's definitely a spot we could see the Lions bounce back with a chip on their shoulder and just take it out on the Commanders. That's a possibility here for sure. I even have some lineups I know that have 5 or 6 Lions, and I include the Lions, and it's a full onslaught, and just setting it up that way. So, Title, I'll kick it to you. Before I do, I just want to answer this quickly. They like the infomercial with the how to use the likes button. We don't need to do it. People know how to use a thumbs up. It's literally free to do, and sometimes they choose not to do it, and that's okay. They still show up and watch the show. But if you go to X at Ship It Nation and click on the pinned message that shows all of the community members winning, that's what the likes was really for. Like, we want to grow the show, show off the stone, show off all the tools. People can just pay for them. It's easy, and it's working, and they are paying for them, and they're having a ton of success doing so. We're giving away $50,000 in cash. We've got the Winner Circle program. We've got SaberSim. So it's thanks to them and through them. We literally have everything you need to have success with DFS for less. We've talked about it a million times. You can watch the free shows. You're not getting all the same stuff that everybody else is getting within the community to find the winners, to get to the winner's circle, and have the data that you require. So all good with us. Title, I'll go to you. Commanders at home versus the Lions, just to round it out here. Hoop gave some good thoughts. I tried to chime in mine. What do you got?
Yeah, Lions are always so difficult. I don't play them too much. I think most slates because of that. I don't know. Amon-Ra is definitely my favorite, and I do like him, and I think you can play him just by himself in this game, for the sense of, like, when you play Goff, he has somewhat of a real price tag. You can't run. When you play him, it's almost like you want to double it. But if I can just get 11 for 100 in one game from Amon-Ra, and then Montgomery gets a little, Gibbs gets some, Laporta that way. So I like Amon-Ra quite a bit. Definitely my favorite there. After that, yeah, I mean, maybe it's a Gibbs game, but if you're wrong at 8K, I mean, you're drawing stone dead pretty much. So it's a pivot and chalkier lineups. Again, I'm right now liking the spend up quarterbacks a little, so I don't see myself really getting there. The run backs, Debo, Ertz, I guess it's fine. I mean, as good as Ertz has been, I do prefer him with Jaden, and he definitely looks slow, but they should be dropping back a bunch in this game. I think the Lions put up points. Yeah, it's always hard for me to play Goff. It's hard for me to play Goff anytime, and it's definitely hard for me to play Goff when he's not in a dome. So I think it's really Amon-Ra is my favorite. If you want Laporta one-off, fine. Debo, my favorite commander.
All right, we got the Swift news. Swift will play. Nothing else came out from that. Just was looking at it too. One thing is, so you could play McCaffrey and Adams, or you can play Gibbs and Puka for the same price. And I don't think many are playing the Adams side of that, but because it's tougher to get to the McCaffrey plus Puka in lineups, unless you like sort of go crazy with the rest of the lineup, it's possible for sure, and people will have it. I'm saying that's an interesting 2v2, and just shows you the type of capabilities you'll have on the afternoon slate. You'd be able to go to Gibbs, Adams, and have money left over if you wanted to. So I think the late swap is going to be more important than usual this week. Like I said, when you have almost every game in play, and then even the afternoon slate gets pretty exciting the way it sets up here. So don't have too much else to add. Hoop, I did want to kick it back to you. The chat had talked about it a ton. Any feel on the Montgomery spot? Because I feel like one thing that's interesting is people are, when they need the value, they're like, oh, for 5K, I'll just get in on that, and that'll make it all work. But it's also a really interesting spot for Gibbs because he is more money. Most spending that kind of money are going to CMC or the expensive wide receiver, and it is a really good matchup, and Gibbs failed everybody last week, but this could easily be the spot. He just has 150 on the ground and 2 touchdowns or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with the Montgomery thing just because he needs probably 2 touchdowns, and like logic would lead you to the fact that it's like Gibbs has to be more involved this week and he has to be featured. So Montgomery, the price tag's fine, but I still think he needs like 2 touchdowns. And it's possible, definitely possible. I'm playing some Montgomery, but it just seems like it's got to be like a big shift back to Gibbs this week.
More
better
big
price, better on FanDuel, I think. He has a cheap price on both sites, but just the score fits him better over there.
Yeah, where like I just talked about the 2 touchdowns, like 1 touchdown on FanDuel is probably good enough. Like you can make the case where for 1 touchdown it gets the job done on DK with the full PPR and all that probably needs 2.
Yeah, and it's still like Jameson Williams is $100 less if you're playing it out of the flex and you want to do something like that. Big boy opportunity of ceiling wise. But again, people would argue, if you look at it, like Montgomery could have a big ceiling too, because if he ends up getting the 2 touchdowns, that adds to it. And then everything else is a boost on top. Couple notes here just came out. So Aaron Jones active. We expected that, but Joshua Palmer, if it makes you feel any better about your Coleman or your Shakir plays out there, no Josh Palmer for the Bills. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Anything else? Final thoughts from you, Title, before we get out of here? Anything else you want to add?
No, it's a fun slate and a great slate for sure. You got quarterback options in multiple different tiers that I think it gets spread out. Kind of condensed chalk running back stuff. Receiver will be wide open. It's a good one. Double tight end in play. The late swap too. I mean, 3 of the 10 games only in the afternoon window, but 3 really good ones. So if you do have Saber Sim or you're playing even cash games, you're playing a couple lineups, like be on the lookout for how your team's doing, what the ownership, the chalk's doing, what it's not doing, to see if you do have to swap on anything. But yeah, free money Sunday, very few better days out there.
Definitely pay attention to late swap. I know it's not for everybody or they're not used to it, but that it's an important part of the game. And I think right now this is a week where it's going to be bigger than ever. And the further you get on the season and things like that, these can be, 50, 100K decisions, depending on what you're looking at, or more, up to $1 million. So got to keep that in mind. Also got news just now before I go to Hoops final thoughts. Ollie Gordon active for Miami. Again, wasn't like huge news, but the idea we were thinking of was like that can affect Achane as well. And so, it's something we'll talk about tomorrow, I'm sure, on the takedown breakdown, one way or the other, of how it goes. Hoop, final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
No, good luck to everyone. Let's get the Ship It Nation logos up to the top of the leaderboard. Should be a fun week. A lot of different ways to go. And we just got Alvin Kamara in too. He was questionable. So getting some of the news. Everything looks pretty straightforward this week. No surprises in terms of ownership, but in terms of inactives. But like you guys touched on, the late swap stuff is definitely available this week. 3 very viable games and 6 very viable teams to swap to. So don't get too comfortable going into the afternoon. But good luck to everyone. And let's get the job done today.
For sure. If you want to join Ship It Nation and get in on the action, in on the fun, if you break it down per slate, the $199 deal is very cheap. I think it's $3 or $5 if you can include all the showdown slates, but it's the 9 weeks of the regular season, all of the playoffs, all the showdown slates, Thanksgiving, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you get Super Bowl on top. You get into the Ship It games where you're playing for the prize you see up top, over $79,000. You get an entry into that to have a chance to play for that, I should say. You do get Saber Sim. You do get everything else. And anybody that gets in before tomorrow night, we'll give you one more chance tomorrow when we talk about it on the Monday Night Football show. But anybody that gets in a draw for a $555 Millie Maker ticket as well. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. We appreciate everybody. Make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe on the way out. For Title, for Hoop, and for myself, ToeTagginTambo, let's ship it!